Hi, I'm Drew. I retired at 52. After 60 days of retirement, I had gone from 500,000 in my savings to 100,000 in my savings, and I'm going to tell you about how that happened in this video today. So the backstory is I taught physics and science for 30 years. I retired after 30 years with a pension. I had saved a little bit of money every month for my entire 30 years. Started by saving $200 a month, eventually raised it up to $400 a month and then $500 a month. And by the time I decided to retire at 52, I thought I was in good shape with about $500,000 in my investment account. I didn't really consider retired when summer break started. I considered it retired in August when all my teacher buddies and my wife went back to work. So this is, they've been back to work for 5 weeks. So I consider this my 5th week of retirement. So I thought our finances were pretty good. We didn't have any debt, no car loans, no credit card debt. We have 2 properties. One is about 100-year-old house in Roanoke, Virginia that I've done a lot of remodeling work on. The second is a small townhouse in Myrtle Beach. My daughter lives there and works for Marriott. Got a mortgage on the house in Roanoke, but the value of the house is about twice what the mortgage is. We do not have a mortgage on the townhouse in Myrtle Beach. In Myrtle Beach, there's kind of a definitive line that I consider a step up in neighborhoods. There's Kings Highway, goes down Myrtle Beach, and it's a block or two from the beach, depending on where you are. Our townhouse in Myrtle Beach is about 3.5 blocks from the beach. So if we were to leave our townhouse and walk eastward, you'd walk like 1.5 blocks, and then you'd have Kings Highway, which is about 5 lanes of traffic. And then we would have a long block that actually has the mayor's house on it. And then you would have beach access at that point. So a little less than half a mile, but the neighborhood is not the best. And then crossing that street is not the best. And then it's like you're in the good neighborhood on the east side of the highway and walk down to the beach access. Myrtle Beach changed the rules a few years ago, so you can no longer park on that side of the highway without a residence pass, and then there's not that many spots to park in if you've got one of those. So I've always wanted to get out of the townhouse and get into just a regular house. And it seemed like a added bonus or a big dream that we could get a house that was on the east side of Kings Highway. So here we are during summer break. We're down at the townhouse. Goofing around on Zillow as I often do, and I spot this house that started at $475, got dropped to $450. Got dropped to $425, and then had just been recently dropped down to $400,000. I clicked on the little prompts on Zillow, and the next thing you know, I had a realtor with an appointment 4 o'clock that afternoon to go see this house. The house was very cute from the outside. The house was a couple miles north of us and on the correct side of the highway. And if you went out the front door, started walking east, you walk past about 9 houses in the shade, and then there was the beach access. At the time, there was a couple of empty lots that had a similar price to this lot that did have a house on it. So I figured I couldn't lose. Looking at the pictures on Zillow, just a lot of confusion trying to piece together the pictures on Zillow with where rooms were located inside of the floor plan. We had the overhead pic, but you just couldn't map out which room was in which place. The listing said it had 3 bathrooms, but there was only pictures of 2 bathrooms. I was having some trouble working out exactly how the house was laid out. They had a lot of stuff in the garage, including several beds and a refrigerator. They said that there was a suite. It also had a refrigerator. It also had a outside access to get to it. The house has a garage. The garage was also very full of stuff, and it had beds in it and a refrigerator in it. So that afternoon, my wife, daughter, and I met the realtor, went inside the house. Um, it was kind of a wild experience because there was just so much stuff inside of the house, and it was kind of hard to like picture things cleared out and picture your own stuff inside of it. Um, I was really pretty sold on the house before we even went in the front door, but the realtor, I think, and then my wife and daughter were kind of confused by what was going on and the arrangement of stuff and weren't picturing themselves living there. I've never worried about resale value on any of our properties. Whatever worked for our family at the time, I built things accordingly to that plan. So I don't ever want to come into a house and judge other people on what worked for them. However, some of the stuff in this house was hard to figure out. In the hallway of the main house, there was a full bathroom on this side and a full bathroom on this side, and then two bedrooms at the end of the hall that were not suites. There were several bedrooms that didn't have any beds in them. They were all very full of stuff. The walls and ceilings seemed to be not drywall, they seemed to be like plywood with paint on top of it. The realtor actually talked us into going to a second house, and the second house was on the wrong side of Kings Highway, and the second house was about $100,000 more, but it was totally move-in shape. Everything was painted, everything was beautiful. My daughter, I could tell in particular, was getting very excited when she was looking around that house. That house would have been all of my money, every dollar of it. And I don't think that it really had the potential to earn me money. I think it was selling at a fair price, and I don't know what I would have done to fix it up or to improve the value. We said goodbye to the realtor, and we did not decide to make an offer on anything at that point. Went home. The next morning, I told everybody that I was really still into the first house, and kind of made my case and sold them on the first house. So called up the realtor. We put in a low offer, but said that we were going to offer all cash and that we were not even going to ask for an inspection. I figured really what sold me was the location of it, and so if I had to fix everything in that house, I'd just fix everything in that house. Realtor put in the offer, and the sellers said that they needed some time to think about it. Took about 2 days. We were sitting there all anxious for those days, and then they came back and accepted our offer, but they had one big twist on the offer, which was that they would close in 5 weeks, but they wanted to stay in the house for 8 weeks after the closing date to get all their stuff together. So here it is now. That puts us in my current situation. I had $500,000 saved for retirement. Spent $400,000 on a beach house. Got about $100,000 left, but it's really in Roth IRAs, so I'm not supposed to touch it. And I've owned a house for like 6 weeks that I've only been inside with the realtor. I don't have keys to it. And next Friday, I get to take over. Well, I already own it, but I get to go inside the house again and start making a plan. So I'm really happy about the renovation. Really happy to see it without other people's stuff inside of it. Sellers were lovely people. We've been texting back and forth. They've given us a few pieces of furniture, but we wish them well, and we hope that they come back in a while and see the place and are happy with what we've done to it. So if you'd like to follow along with us on our adventure as we renovate and fix up this beach house, hit the subscribe button. We'll do a good job in a couple of weeks to get out a video of the before pictures of the house, or the before videos of the house, and we'll document all the steps along the way, and hopefully we'll turn this beach house into our dream beach house. I really don't have many pictures of the house. The ones that were on Zillow were taken down. What I do have, I'm going to show you now.